next up, we're headed to, try that again. We are headed to. So before we go back outside to show you some of these different neighborhoods, let's talk about what actually makes a neighborhood in South Park walkable. Think about things like amenities. What kind of amenities are there in the community? Do you have a clubhouse? Do you have walking trails? Do you have tennis courts or pickleball courts? Do you have a pool that's walking distance to the house? All these kinds of things are going to come into play, and some of the different neighborhoods in South Park actually have community centers that you can be a member of. Safety is another thing that's going to come into play when we talk about walkability, because as much as people do want walkability in a walkable house and a walkable location, they also want to make sure that there's not tons of people just walking by their house or wandering by their house all the time. Some areas are going to be safer than others, but for the most part in South Park, you're going to be okay. There's a lot of very safe areas in South Park, and at the end of the day, if safety is super important, I always make sure I explain to buyers and really stress this. There are crime reports that you should absolutely look up so that you best understand what to expect when it comes to crime and safety in an area. But that all plays into walkability. Another thing that makes neighborhoods walkable is sidewalks or pedestrian-friendly roads. Some of these neighborhoods have sidewalks on both sides of the street. Some of them have sidewalks on one side of the street. Some of them don't have any sidewalks because they're older neighborhoods, but it's a very pedestrian-friendly neighborhood or street because it's so wide. Some of the neighborhoods we're going to go into today are almost a century old. They didn't have sidewalks. It wasn't very common. There weren't cars driving all over these streets all the time with bird scooters and all kinds of stuff happening on the street all the time. But what they did, which was very smart, even all the way back then, was they made sure that these streets were very pedestrian friendly, and they made sure that they were safe for people to walk around on. So look for sidewalks, look for wider roads, and honestly, while you're driving around these different neighborhoods, look for people walking around and see what they're doing. Are they walking with dogs? Are they walking with strollers? Are kids riding around on scooters and bikes? Like, what does it look like when you're driving around in some of these different South Park neighborhoods, especially if walkability is important to you? And the last thing that comes into play when we talk about walkability ratings for neighborhoods is proximity to shopping and dining. Can you leave your house and walk to restaurants? Can you leave your house and go walk to a Starbucks? Are you walking distance to some of the top restaurants or some of the different shopping centers? All of those things are going to be taken into account when we talk about walkability for different neighborhoods and specifically walkability for different homes. You want to make sure you're tracking that when you look at a house or when you're actually touring a home. Take your phone out, literally take your phone out, open up the map as I'm doing here, and look when you're in a home and see, okay, how far is the closest Harris Teeter? How far would Starbucks be, or Summit Coffee, or Not Just Coffee? That's my favorite coffee shop. But how far is Not Just Coffee from that house? How far is the gym? How far are different things from you? Do that while you're on the showing, or do that on your computer before you even get to the house. Because if walkability is important, you're going to want to know that. But all of those things, sidewalks, pedestrian-friendly roads, safety, amenities, and proximity to shopping and dining, they're all gonna go into what makes a neighborhood more walkable. So should we head outside? So first on our list today for most walkable neighborhoods in South Park is Barclay Downs. It's so walkable that we're standing in the middle of the street and there's a truck getting ready to come by, so we're gonna scoot over just a little bit. This is a really walkable neighborhood because you're so close to South Park Mall. And not only are you close to South Park Mall, which, look, if you're watching this, you've probably heard me talk about South Park Mall plenty. That is the top place if you wanna go shopping. There's a huge food court as well for dining, but South Park Mall is where it's at when it comes to shopping. So being walkable to that is super important to a lot of homeowners, which is why Barclay Downs is such a popular neighborhood. And not only that, but these homes are a healthy mix of older ranch homes, some new construction homes, as you can see behind me, and everything in between, even with a few townhomes scattered throughout the neighborhood, which helps with affordability in this neighborhood. The other reason that people love living in Barclay Downs is because this is probably, of today's tour, before, the closest neighborhood to Uptown. So you're centered right in the middle of everything that Charlotte has to offer and right in the heart of South Park. Barclay Downs, Foxcroft, Governor's Square, Park South Station, all of these neighborhoods are going to be amazing neighborhoods that are super conveniently located, but this may be the top of that list. And to get into this neighborhood, you're looking to start around $800,000 and you're going to work your way up into a couple $1,000,000 for some of these homes. I mean, some of these new construction houses are pushing well over $2 million, and that's nothing compared to some of the neighborhoods we're gonna see today. Before we continue, I'd like to give you all a warm welcome to the Living in Charlotte channel. We're here with the top relocation team in Charlotte, North Carolina, and we provide videos every week for you to understand the ins and outs of the Charlotte real estate market. So be sure to take some notes, and don't be afraid to pause the video as you go. My name is Andy Griesinger. My team and I get calls, texts, emails, and DMs from people like you every day who are thinking about moving to Charlotte, North Carolina. And whether you're looking to move here in a week from now, a month from now, a year or 2 years from now, whatever it is, we would absolutely love to help, and we would love to hear from you. Now, if this is your first time on our Living in Charlotte channel, be sure to subscribe and tap the bell for notifications so you can be the first to know everything there is to know about the Charlotte, North Carolina real estate market. So second on our list today for walkable neighborhoods in South Park is Governor's Square. And what makes Governor's Square walkable? Well, any home in this neighborhood is within a 10-minute walk to Foxcroft East Shopping Center. What is in Foxcroft East Shopping Center, might you ask? I don't know, a few places you might have heard of, like Caribou Coffee, Ben & Jerry's, there's a UPS store, Barrington's, which is a phenomenal restaurant, is in there, and Foxcroft Wine Company, which is an awesome wine bar, tucked right at the end of this neighborhood in its own little shopping center. Not only are you a bike ride away from South Park Mall here, it is home to a lot of houses go figure. There's a lot of homes here in Governor's Square that are a little bit older on bigger yards. People move here because it's very quiet, there's a lot of sidewalks, it feeds into some amazing schools. And so because of that, you're gonna see that the pricing in here is anywhere from about $800,000 and up. Now, you can get something awesome in here without spending tons and tons of money compared to some of the other neighborhoods that we're gonna visit today, but this is a phenomenal place for you to look if you're thinking about a walkable neighborhood in South Park. Next up, we're headed to Try that again. We are headed to Foxcroft, which is one of the most premier neighborhoods in Charlotte, so you're not gonna wanna miss this. You've probably heard of this neighborhood because people literally will buy in Foxcroft to say they live in Foxcroft. This is a highly sought after neighborhood, and the reason for that is because, as you can see, these houses are on huge lots. They're very mature trees around here. There's some beautiful historic homes, very traditional homes. I mean, compared to Governor's Square, you're starting at like $1.5 to $2 million just to get into the neighborhood. And if you want something nice, prepare to spend $5, $6, $8 million or more for a house in here. I was talking to an agent the other day, and I think she was saying that even a piece of dirt, some land in this neighborhood sold for $10 million. So people are dying to get in here, but you really have to be ready to cut a big check if you want to live in Foxcroft. Now, as far as walkability, you're super close to South Park Mall, Morrowcroft, and Phillips Place. Phillips Place in particular is probably, arguably, the most high-end luxury shopping center in all of Charlotte. You have high-end restaurants, you have high-end shopping, you have jeweler like Windsor Jewelers, you have, which is one of the only Rolex authorized dealers in town, and they're a phenomenal place for you to go, whether you're looking for any kind of jewelry or watches or anything. They've got amazing selections. You also have places like Peter Millar and Restoration Hardware in Phillips Place. Then on the restaurant side, you've got The Palm, you've got 800 Degrees, you have Bar One Lounge, which is a really cool speakeasy style lounge. There are so many cool things that you can walk to if you live in Foxcroft, which is a huge reason why people choose to move here. Because of how spread out this city is, one thing that we've noticed is a lot of our buyers have heard about a specific neighborhood or maybe a specific street, and they their dream home is situated right on that street. And it may not be possible to find that exact home on that street. So one of the things that our team has done, and I personally did, was I invested in one of the most high-tech artificial intelligence tools to help you narrow down exactly where we might be able to find some homes that may not be on the market yet with sellers who are willing to sell. If it ends up not being the perfect house for you, do you have to buy it? No, you don't. But it's one of the many tools that sets our team apart from everyone else in all of Charlotte, North Carolina. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna hop on a Zoom call, pull up a map, and go through the specific neighborhoods and streets that are gonna fit your needs. And more importantly, we're gonna cross off all the ones that just simply won't be a fit. Okay, so last stop on our tour today is Park South Station. This is gonna be the most affordable option where you can actually get condos, townhomes, or single family homes all in this gated neighborhood. That's right, gated. None of the other neighborhoods in South Park that we've gone to today that are super walkable, aside from, which we didn't go there, but Maracroft Estates does have a gate as well. This is the only gated neighborhood you're gonna find in South Park, and it's gonna be the most affordable option as well. It may be the furthest walk, but it's home to a lot of young professionals and a lot of people that like going to Montford or Park Road Shopping Center. Those are gonna be the closest shopping areas, and maybe Quail Corners. Those are gonna be the closest ones to Park South Station. And people love living here because even if you do have to hop in a car, which I get is not walkable, you're 2 minutes away from Park Road Shopping Center. You wanna go to Amelie's to go get a cup of coffee, you can. You wanna go to the movie theater, you can. There's a Chopped, there's Co, there's ... which is my favorite cocktail lounge in town, and it's one of the best in town. You have tons of restaurants and all kinds of shopping as well, including Black Hawk Hardware and a multitude of other options when it comes to shopping and dining in Park Road Shopping Center, which is a huge reason why people like to live in Park South Station. The other big reason is it's situated right off of Archdale, and if you're looking at a map, Archdale is actually directly connected to Park Road and South Boulevard, making it super easy to get anywhere you need to in this city. So even if you don't feel like walking around while you're living in Park South Station, you can get anywhere easily. And that's a huge draw to a lot of people, as well as the affordability and the way that you can get into the South Park area, especially for a townhome, without having to pay some of the huge price tags that you're seeing in Foxcroft and Governor Square and Barclay Downs. All right, so you've seen all of the walkable neighborhoods, or honestly, not even all of them, just a few of them. And if you want to live in one of these walkable neighborhoods, reach out to us or drop a comment below so that we can help you build out a great game plan to find a home that is walkable. I love helping people buy homes that are walkable because I know that it makes a huge impact on their life, because it's so much more fun, if that's important to you, so much more fun to live in a walkable area so that you can be a part of the community. We love helping people, and that sounds so cheesy, but we do. We love helping people move here, especially from out of state, into walkable areas where they feel like they can build a sense of community quickly. So if you do want to live in one of these walkable areas, please do not hesitate to reach out. We would love to help you. All of our contact information is in the description below. So jot that down, and we love to hear from you. So if you're ready to check out everything that Charlotte has to offer, be sure to check out our other videos and drop a comment below with any questions that you might still have. We are always putting out new videos with tips, tricks, things to think about, and things that you need to know about the Charlotte market. So make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can stay in the know.